Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday, as we say. Hold on. So, economic news, which I didn't pay much attention to this morning. Um, just looking at it. Sentiment dropped a little bit. Inflation expectations dropped a little bit. Not a big deal. All right. No significant news there. It was 9:45. I guess it's coming out, right? Today's the 22nd. Yeah, 10 o'clock, 9:45 and 10 o'clock. All right. So, markets are pretty much unchanged. Nothing going on here. So, no follow through to yesterday. The dip was bought again. It was a little bit of a nasty dip in the morning. Let's just call it that. You know, looking at, well, we'll look at it with SPY. It was a little less controlled than the day before. So, and I mentioned yesterday, and I think I put a drawing on the cues there about this upward sloping grind um, that's going on. And why I said today's low, yesterday's low actually is critical first support, which the prior day always is. But the reason I said that is because of this upward grind that's going on. We had this, as you know, this really strong move up, and the pullback into this area, in my mind, was a no-brainer buy area, right? The support, and because of that, the strength of this move. And it's because of this pattern. I can draw this out here. This pattern I mentioned yesterday in the green room, it's always this way. And we looked at I forget what it was, but anyway, um, this pattern here, it's always this way. Meaning, if you look at a 5 minute chart or a 30-minute chart, not that it's going to always look like this across all time frames, but it's always a momentum move like that. And how do you define a momentum move? It's just a sharp, big move. And then it pulls back about 50%, give or take, and it hooks up. It always happens like that. So if you see it coming out of a base, um, the only difference might be is like if this was running up like this and you get a climactic kind of situation, common sense would say, well, you know what, that's not the typical little hook pullback. But if it pulled all the way back to support, maybe you could go with it, of course. So, there was this hook pattern. And now the way it's going up, kind of grinding up into there, I kind of make the analogy is like, put 100 pounds in a backpack and start walking uphill. It's, it's struggling to go up there. So, if it was to break this low, and Dan had mentioned earlier in the week about a possible measured move lower, but that was here. And it was where it was starting the turn. Whereas here, it's like me from here to here, just eyeballing it. It's maybe 50%, give or take. Anyway, so I think if today was to break here, it could start a move down to here. Right? So that's my thought. Um, if for some reason buyers continue to come in and we have no evidence yet that they're backing off in a significant way, because this little dip right here was picked up and it's up near this resistance. You can kind of see where that cursor is near minor resistance. So we'll see how this area plays out. So that's my thoughts as far as that goes. Let me clean up this little mess here. And let's look at the NQs while we move on. And this is what I drew yesterday, was this kind of channel or bearish flag. Now, bear flags usually come after a down move, not a pullback from a momentum up move. This looks suspect to me. But, unless it breaks a prior day's low, It's just a thought that, hey, you know what? I don't really like the way this is going up. All these bottoming tail bars, they continue to buy the dip, but rather than dipping so deep, it should just continue to move up. If buyers were that aggressive, it wouldn't dip that low, right? So when you look at bar by bar from this perspective, it gives you a clearer message of what they're thinking. They're still thinking, right? Right, the majority is still thinking buy the dip. But why are they so apprehensive about buying higher prices versus, hey, if it comes all the way down here, well, I'll explain to you. If it comes all the way down here and I'm bidding down here and others start to see that the bid is being taken and people start taking the offer, everybody's, oh, there's going to go back up, take the offer, and they run it back up again. Whereas if I buy it down here near the pivots, and it rattles around for whatever amount of time, 20, 30 minutes, and it can't go up, well, I scratch it for a little loss. So it doesn't have this really bullish, I know it's maybe a little higher. I'm just stepping up here, because I believe it's going to go up, right? So the pattern is one in which it communicates, I'm not so sure about this move up, especially after it came down like that. It's kind of crazy. It's like usually what happens after a momentum move like that, maybe you get a move down to minor support, give or take. The next on this red bar, the next one would have been a green bar up. You'd have had a bullish 180, and it went up, and it would have went higher. So, hey, it's suspect. We'll see what happens. Breaking a prior day's low, I think, could send it down toward that major support level. So we'll be keeping an eye to see. Just set an alert down there, see what happens. This is more normal. Came up, the way it came down was more, I don't know, historically normal, not perfect, but very much okay. Two bottoming tail bars, an up day yesterday, wide range bar. And so when we get a wide range bar, again, the prior bar slow is important. And look at the way it moved up on the 65-minute, rattle, 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 breaks the pivots, up it goes, typical kind of price action. Now it's at this pivot and it's backing off, which is normal for this to have an inside day, 1, 2, 3 kind of situation. The Dow looks different. The Russell, came down deep, but into this minor support, which we covered, bottoming tail, in a wide range bar up rather than, the Qs and the S&Ps, the way they had those long-legged bottoming tail bars and then closing where they open pretty much. So this looks pretty good still. More of a controlled sideways consolidation. It's not up at the pivot yet. So if this was to break out, it looks like it could go up to that area. So this is the best looking as far as contract goes, but it did have a run. You got pivot highs and pivot lows opposing each other. It's making a base. That's what a base is. Now, a wide whippy base is when you have the pivot highs and pivot lows far from each other. So that's how, using the pivots is a good visual aid besides defining a trend and multiple pivots being, a stiffer area of support. And then if it breaks out into a void, so on and so forth. All right. SPY. Well, let me look at the transports before we get there. Transports, pulling back. Good day yesterday. We'll see what it does. And this is one of the good things that's happening in the markets. And I mean, things are good. They're just not the cleanest patterns. Breaking out here. The month is not over, but a breakout. So far, it's holding above the resistance. So, that looks pretty good. Should not break this low. That would be a problem. Breaking the, short-term support there. Buyers should continue to want to step up. And so spiders, not a little dip there, pre-market, and see where the cursor is pretty much unchanged. Fill the gap. I think the most constructive thing this could do would be to rattle around today inside this bar. Again, today's low becomes important, not to break that, but I think rattling around here building a little bit area of support would be very constructive as far as potentially taking out this high next week. Right? All right, SPX, nothing got hit yesterday. It's just kind of whipping. Now, I put this arrow at 6,000 because there's a huge open interest in calls up there. So there's this huge bet that it's going to go up there today. It's because the dip was bought and it came back up again. You saw I showed you the spiders dip was bought. It's unchanged. Maybe the news that comes out at 9:45 and 10 o'clock ignites something, but it'll hit a wall. Now, when it hits that wall of resistance, big whole number, huge open interest, pivot high up there, you want to watch it. And what we really want to see is it run up there early on, maybe even before the numbers or into the numbers. And then if it was to go sideways there for a while, that would be bullish. But that's yet to be seen, right? Yet to be seen. The put strike, down here, 58.60. And if it was to break here, it's going to hit there. But I think more or less, probably until the numbers come out anyway, it's just going to rattle around in here, not to be doing too much. All right. Interest rates. Well, that's the 5-year. Not doing anything. They're chopping around. The 10-year, just chopping around. So, they're at this pivot high up there. We got a red week. Yes, it's extended. It had a hell of a move. Does it break these lows or not? We'll wait and see. So far, nothing's going on. Gold is at a place where it should form a reversal. Now, the move up was impressive to a certain extent. It looks impressive on the weekly chart, to come down that hard and get a green bar back up again to that size, negating the red bar. But what does it do with this resistance? So this is where we talked about last week for it to make the turn. Now it's where the sellers are. And so far, they're not backing off. You can see a little tail there, but really not. You can see the 65-minute just pulling back within an uptrend. It kind of had a little bit of a climactic run there. So it's just pulling back. We'll see what it does over the next couple of days, whether it rolls over or not. Crude oil kind of flat here, doing nothing. You got this topping pattern that held at major support, which we've been reviewing for a while, really all year. And it's at the bottom of the range. So this bounce off of here was historically typical. Now, kind of like this is where the heavy lifting begins. Going to continue up, or does it roll back over? I don't think we're going to find out today. Of course, silver, not doing too much here. Less impressive than gold. It looks like a situation where it could roll back over again. And we looked at, just look at the euro here. Didn't hold. It didn't hold. So that is breaking below this pivot on the monthly chart. It's amazing that the markets are ignoring this as this is going down as the dollar continues to move up. And they're doing it right now because interest rates aren't moving. So if these equity markets break yesterday's low and that dollar keeps going up and interest rates start to spike, you better have some shorts on your list of what to look for. Or if you're long, I think you better get the hell out of the way. All right, let's take a quick peek at the internals. So we had this little backing off in sentiment on this pullback. Breadth has been stinky, right? Right. This little rally is not impressive. Breadth is not impressive. Of course, you've got Google and threats against Google and Amazon and whoever about being monopolies. Why are they not picking on Apple? Well, I guess because there's other phones out there, of course, but an Apple, well, let me see where that is here. I would set an alert. I don't know if this market wants to take off. I mean, I granted this looks kind of sloppy, but look at this little void here. I think if Apple could take out these highs, it might do some of the heavy lifting to hold the market up or pull that up a little bit. So set an alert if you're interested. Buying the dip here as well. So see what you think of that. Set an alert. Doesn't hurt to set an alert. I'll just quickly take a look at, mid caps did the best. As part of my little scratch drawings here from a prior day, I pointed out this head and shoulders top and this little neckline here. So that did well. So take a look at some of the stocks within the mid cap index. Now this is coming up to resistance, but this moved up the way I would think it should, meaning a strong move up, a pullback to support, a rising 20, and it should move up like that. Not the way we saw, the spiders and Qs moving up. Anyway, we'll see what today brings, as always, and look forward into next week and the holiday and all of that. And today's our last free day in the green room. Hopefully, so many of you took advantage of it and will be joining us. Anyway, I'll post some links in the chat there. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Happy Zero DTE Day. Yeah, and Greg, so this is the year that we have mid holidays on Wednesdays, which we got to decide what to do with MT Live. But next week is the day before Thanksgiving.
So what day is closed, Dan? Is just Thanksgiving closes, isn't it?
Well, yeah, for next week, Thursday's closed and then a half day Friday. We close at 1 o'clock, equity markets, but we have Christmas and New Year's on Wednesday this year.
Okay, whatever it is, we'll figure it out.
Right. All right, so Greg did his thing. But you do mine, which is looking at alarms first. So I sent out a telegram to sell a third of this. ABBV is flying here. This is a beautiful Climo we did the other day. Greg was explaining and showing how it broke out of the hourly chart, which makes Climo's much better, or more better, McGraw would say. And we're in trail mode. So we sold a third yesterday, sold a third pre-market. Actually, I sold them too early. I sold them $1 ago, 173.75. But that's fine. We're in trail mode. People ask, what's the target? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how far this is going to go. So we trail it. I had a stalled alarm. We had we're 100% bullish in all three letters. And this was a multi-bar turn after a buy setup. We were getting these left and right. So we're in trail mode on this. I had an alarm go off, but I don't see any prints. Kava alarm. Sloppier, but we did a put spread yesterday. Made a multi-bar turn. My up alarm went off, so that's fine. Way, WAY, is a bull 1, 2, 3, 4. Our entry is 30. Okay, so it's gapping over the entry. So we have to watch that on a pullback. Now let me put it here, away. And that's it for my alarms. But we have a ton of beautiful open positions. We're in trail mode. Let's go to earnings now. Gap, we did a condor. Look at this. There's been some big gaps this week. We did a $1.50 wide, the 26s. I mean, that's a monster gap. But we sold them. It was huge premium. We got 47 cents The expected move, we got 47 cents for $1.50 wide. Expected move was 228. So it's blowing through the expected move. But as long as it stays right around 26 or lower, we're gonna have an open profit because who's gonna pay more than 47 cents for $1.50 wide on one day? So I'll be watching that. We gotta obviously wait a few minutes, let spreads tighten up, and ideally it'll be sold into it. It's an excessive gap, and we just close it on a pullback and move on. CPRT, nice buy setup, 180 reversal. I said yesterday, I wish it opened flat, and then we would have bought it, but the gap's too big. Rost, 153. We were contemplating a condor on this also. I forget what strikes, but I did not do that one. ESTC, gap's too big, 1.7. Excessive gap. This could be a 0 DTE. A 0 DTE call spread. Now I posted in Telegram. It's not earnings, but check out this Reddit. This thing exploded yesterday to all-time highs. I have no idea why. I don't know the market cap on this thing, but this is a financial chat board. And I praise the guys when they went public. I'm like, you all are smart. They did it after the ruckus of causing that GME short covering thing. But what kept this thing going? I have no friggin' idea. $24 billion market cap for a chat board that I'm sure I don't know for sure. But you know what, Alex? They probably, two college kids probably put it together for a hobby. And I would love to have lunch with them one day to learn their history, why they did it, and then started monetizing it. But hats off to them. I mean, good for them. But now we got a bearish gap. I think there was some news of some guy selling some, and that's why I'm asking about the market cap. It said that some dude is selling some shares to bring in $1 billion. I'm like, some shares for $1 billion? What's the total? So I'm going to start watching this thing for a call spread. The spreads are wide though. NTAP, that's another 0 DTE call spread idea. NTAP. Yes, you see. Looks great. All right. I need more windows here. Well, I got a cap on the other computer. Put NTAP here. UGI. Bullish, no pattern. Into it. 666. Now, possibly a 0 DTE condor. I think Sammy Boy was talking about a short strangle on this, which would be paying beautifully right now. Well, Eris on YouTube, that's about elf. I think, yeah, this tail, somebody in the green room yesterday said that I forget if it was accounting irregularities, I forget, but that tail's real. There was some news yesterday. But a buy, no, it's not. It's not a bicep with this big old tail like that. It's a very sloppy one, possibly a day trade, 15-minute high, something like that. Stop under this red bar. But no, compare it to these other beautiful buy setups that we have, Eris. Look at this. Buy setup, turn on support, price void, uptrend, 20 above the 50. This is the picture you want. And we have like 7 of them, including IWM. Look, uptrend, 20 above 50, bullish turn, price void. So this is what you want, not that elf. Matt W, no pattern, legitty, bearish gap, but no pattern. 266. Call spread, 0DT call spread. B key. Let's see, this is even a better buy setup. Uptrend, 20 above 50, 3-bar turn, but it's gapping up to resistance. And that's it. Those were all the earnings. So this is miscellaneous stuff. Mr. T. It's coming in, but it's kind of a little hook pattern after breaking out. Cuervo Gold, bottoming pattern, put spread idea, microchip. I gave yesterday as a Climo, but the gap messed it up. Now it's gapping down. So we're not in it. Cavo, we talked about, we're in it. Like this could be a day trade. 30-minute high. That's the end of day base. So that ain't bad for day trade. Box, Sam, this is yours. This is a sloppy buy setup because of the way it came down in a chaotic manner. But set an alarm up here. It could be a day trade over the high. You mentioned this one. I like the 1, 2, 3 in the closing breakout. What I don't like is there's no void because this is a 7 bars of football players. So put spread maybe. Playa I like better. So Eris, here's another buy setup, uptrend, multi-bar turn. So Playa looks great. Look at NTAP bottom right. I said excessive gap. It's already selling a lot. It's sold off $3 already. All right. San Francisco, sloppy buy setup. But again, you got a more around the top, and it's look at the distance between 20, 50, and 200. That visually is telling me that it's getting cooked. So this same buy setup down here where the moving averages are closer would have higher. Look at this buy setup was nice. Went up, range expansion, reversal bar. That was a nice buy setup. This one is nice. Micron had a big move yesterday. It's kind of a put spread watch. Same with CMG. If we get a 1, 2, 3, then Monday I like this as a long. Munster would be a put spread if there's any juice. RCAT, another excessive gap, could be a gap and crab. Gap and crabs, the bigger the gap, the better. Like Mister, I was pounding the table on this yesterday for a call spread. And I just didn't want to do them naked, but we could have sold the $800 calls. $800 calls for $1.50. Knock here, my alarm went off. Maybe 30-minute high. Massey, up alarm. So this was more of a breakout than a buy setup, but up alarm. Let's tighten the stop here now. 168.18. We have half left. We're in trail mode. All right, good. Our gap is pulling in, so I'm going to give it a minute or two and let the spreads tighten. All right, perfect. Let me see what they're at now. All right, at 30, they're at 34. So we have an open gain now. So the question is, all right, now it's break even. The spreads are bouncing around. Bottom right, end tap. All right, okay, now it's 25, 20, 22. I'm gonna bid 22. I'm not filled, but I saw a midpoint right there and I just sent it.
A and F gapped up, Dan. Maybe there's a put spread there. Definitely should be thought as an intraday buy. Got earnings on the 26th.
All right, hold on. Let's see. Manage this. Yeah, the spreads. Got it in two accounts. Playa up alarm. That's a buy setup. Look at that end tap. So that end tap, my bias was proper.
Delta, it's right near the those two pivot highs on the daily chart. It's a terrible entry unless you're willing to give it a stop under yesterday's low and with a small position.
Yeah, I mentioned CMG. I'm not looking at it, but I mentioned CMG pre-market for a put spread if there's any juice. And I also said if I get a 1, 2, 3, I like it for Monday. SIVA up alarm, Greg, that was yours from yesterday. All right, I got all right, CMG. Yeah, no, say the gap and go messed up my 1, 2, 3. All right, I just covered some of gap at 25 cents. I told him to bid 22. All right, so I'm obviously thankful that it got sold into in that big gap. Yeah, ANF looks great. Yeah, that's a pro igniting gap right there. Earnings next week though, so we can't do a put spread. But yeah, that's an igniting gap, you all.
eBay refuses to go down. Watch that one. It's not ready. It's not a long yet, but it should have rolled over and it didn't.
Look, this one I also said excessive gap, 0 DTE. Yeah, Greg, we had eBay puts. I got us out at the dead low yesterday. So we made a profit. There's no weeklies on ESTC. NTAP fell too much. So see, even though we don't trade them because it didn't set up the way we want, we nailed the bias on both of these. Nailed it. All right, so we're at a gap, 22. You can probably make more. All right, so gap. All right, well, I'll close it at 22, but it looks like you can get more. I mean, a bigger profit. But I'm out. I'm done with it. All right, Mitzi up alarm. This was our beautiful buy setup. That's a nice gap too on 15. All right. 132.75. So Mitzi just made its next target. That's why my bill went off. 130.38. Mitzi. 30. Yeah, bought. All right, cool, cool. So you're right. You got out at a better price. All right, good job. All right, let's see. 130.38. All right, so we may have met our next target. Yeah, it was buy setup galore this week. Let's see, 130. Four. Uber low alarm. I know that's a 1, 2, 3, 4 in the making. You know what? That's Massey. It's accelerating to resistance. Uh, let's take the money here into strength. I mean, it could make one more pop. Let's just take it a Friday. So, let's see. I'm behind here, but I'll catch up. That way. All right, way, the gap messed it up. So cancel way. But that's a nice pattern. I liked it. And a cap, we did half yesterday, and the other half you can do over the high, yesterday's high. So that's 392.03. IWM still acting the strongest here. We've got a couple bullish trades on that.
Let's short the Qs under that 5-minute low with a stop above yesterday's high. Or T triple Qs. I would scratch that if it goes back up to the high first. The spiders are. But Meta's going down. Nvidia reversed down.
Lulu flying, but no pattern. PayPal finally moving. Home Depot looks great for a put spread if there's any juice. 402.50s. Yeah, there is. They're spready. 111 by 171. Are you crazy? All right, there's no earnings. Home Depot. I don't have time to make it pretty. But here, I'm just gonna send my order. I'll tell you if I get filled. Market's flying here. Q's the worst. The other one's cleared. They're over yesterday's high. Yeah, I'm in this one. I'm in IWR. Yep, looks great. Yep, forgot about that one. Yep, we're in this URTY too, and IWM. We're in IWM long calls. Move the stop 235.28. VIX falling like a rock. 920. I'm still holding this target dog, but you know, looking for a place to. Yeah, yeah. I mentioned Costco yesterday. It looks great. DB. Yeah, NUE. Yeah. I like it. Made the turn. Earnings 127. Let me check call options too. Let's buy high. Stopped yesterday's low. Actually, is this lower? 46.55. Yes. 140. 40.
Starbucks taking out the top of the base.
Yeah,
Go to 20 alert.
Put spread also. Right. Looking good. STT up alarm, Berkshire up alarm. 147, 150. Thanks. Ready. I'm not filled, but orders out. Um, I'm sorry, today's low should be okay. My Uber alarm went off, but nothing yet. Man, the SendTech would have been look at that. Fantastic. We nailed the pattern of this on that ESTC, but had no weeklies. All right, STT up alarm. This 96.11. No stop break even. Yeah, banks broke out. So remember we were in intelligent hope mode on this thing after we entered it. And it worked this time. We sat through that pullback. Oh, it's just no, it's not a 10 a.m. number, but Q's ugly retracement. I don't see any real big movers causing it. Apple's actually a bull 123, and same as Microsoft. But the daily on Microsoft is actually a bear 123. That'd be a good short for a Monday, because you know why? It ain't gonna trigger unless it's weak. This I like day trade 30-minute high. And you just hit. I'm way behind on things here. But that triggered. Yeah, no, I'm gonna check. Yeah, no, I love it for day trade. Maybe swing on Monday. I'm just talking today. And I also love it for a put spread, 228, 17 cents. Apple for like 2 years has had shitty premiums. So it's like many times I don't even look anymore. Tesla could be a call spread. 0. I'm not gonna do anything here until after this 10 a.m. But let's see the 345s. Yeah, say Tesla has juice. They got 10 million shares already in Tesla. That is unfriggin' believable. All right. So three 347, 347, 357. Like just put it in perspective. Yeah, my alarm went off. Yep. Yep, let's move. Yep, I was gonna look at that right now. We're in at 470. So yeah, let's move stop days low 461.58. Five. Yeah, we're not in this one. All right, Sammy boy.
That's tight, Dan.
What?
The Tesla call spread.
Are you kidding me? It's yesterday's high.
I know.
Well, but I said after 10 and the entry would be yesterday's low. I'm waiting for 10 a.m. numbers. Yeah, no, I didn't give that. I said it's a watch.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No. Look at Telegram. I said after 10.
I don't get Telegram.
Do you want me to show you how? This is what I wrote. And I was just showing what it was right now. All right, San Francisco. Sam, I don't like this prior junk over there. Box, yeah, for day. Yeah, nice gap from end of day base. So I like it as a day trade, not as a swing, but too late now. This one I like as a put spread. Again, you got too much junk to the left for me for swing. Our cat looks great. Kava, put spread, LMT is fine. Let's start 40. Let's see. All I'm still not feeling new or Home Depot because they were spreading. But I tried, and I did not get filled on Fang yesterday either. Ah, I bet I would have this morning. Let me try again here. 180, 175. Oh, I did. It's in my open positions. All right, cool. I had never posted it because I didn't think I got filled, but I did. Nice. Alex, I don't know how you keep track of all your positions because I get lost in mine. But now it looks better. So see, it only got filled on this pullback, but I honestly didn't see it in my positions until now. I said add it 150, but I seriously don't look up film. I'm not going to take credit for that. It's from now thing. We're at 40% of max value in Fang. Off the Lima up alarm. I still haven't gone through all opens yet, but that was a nice buy setup too.